Howdy folks, I'm here in my forge. I've been working this morning and I've been making some of these X-Rhea Hunters. Well, there's a lot of misunderstandings about how they're made, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the way that I designed this and see if I could help those who are trying to make it out there whenever they're trying to make this particular knife. And I do appreciate those who want to give it a shot. There's a few pointers that I could give you, and I'd be glad to do that. But I want to point out a few things about the actual geometry of the knife, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish. And I do recommend that anyone who tries to work through the process consider these things and build it into the process so that it'll turn out more or less the way I intended it. I realize that each individual has different taste, but I've done this enough now that I think I have a good understanding of how it should be done. This one is my standard Hunter, and I want to point out that there's a distinct step from the handle to the blade. The blade is about maybe a hair over 1/8 of an inch thick. It's probably about 150 thousandths. And there's a sharp step where the handle drops into the blade thickness. And this blade thickness should be the same from approximately right in the middle, right here, all the way out the back under the handle. So even down here on this standoff, it should be a uniform thickness. That's my goal. That's the only way you can get this grind to work properly. And also, whenever I'm beveling the cutting edge, I actually put a little bit of a back bevel, so the flat area that's truly flat and parallel is kind of a triangular shape. It's kind of the blade shape, but smaller. So it starts about right here. That's a point of the flatness. It comes back and comes all the way out the back where that standoff is, the same thickness, which is quite a bit thinner, of course, than the handle. The reason I want that way is so that it's got bearing surface for the hand and it's not going to be uncomfortable. Now, one indication that it's broad and square is that it will stand up easily on a flat surface. So that's just one indication. Another thing that I like, and I think it's the proper way, is the standoff needs to come up on an angle that works with that curve. And there should be an airspace that gets smaller and it's graceful. Here, this should be a graceful bend, and this should correspond with that. There's actually a taper in this tail. It gets smaller as it comes back, and it gets thinner as it comes back. And for the most part, it does all the way. And that beaver tail, what I'm calling a beaver tail, the part where your finger goes against the guard, that is a projection of this thickness, this taper as it comes out. It shouldn't suddenly drop to a paper thin thickness here, as if you forgot to allow material. Always allow material for that, and then broaden it so that it's a graceful curve. And besides that, it's more comfortable, and it's easier on your sheath. It doesn't cut and scrape and wear away your sheath and reduce its life. Now, when I'm holding that up there, you might can see some of the alignment of it, and that's of course very important in the way a knife looks. There's an article in the June 2021 Blade magazine, where I try to explain why I come up with this design and the process of how I started the down that path. And I do have a t-shirt, by the way, with that image right there on it, but there's a flattering view of me looking at one of the larger X-rays. And by the way, I intend to do a series of videos showing how to do that large one, and it'll probably have more steps and stages than the small one. So you can be expecting that. I have definite plans to do that. And even though I'm making these videos, you have to understand that I can only show so much in a video. In a setting where it's an instructor is teaching a student or a group of students, you get more, you get better and more concentrated effort, and you get to see it happening in real time, and you get corrections and so forth. So keep that in mind. When you're trying to do something from a YouTube video or a series of videos, you can get a lot out of it, but you may not can get everything you need out of it. So I'm not keeping secrets or anything. That's not the point at all. It's that this is just a few videos that I want to show some steps and stages how to get there, especially if you've got experience forging, you can do it. Now this bar here has a marked off about 4.5 inches, and that's the amount it took to make this knife. This knife right now, it's about maybe a little, it's about 8 inches long total. So you can see where all that material is displaced out, and I explained that in previous videos. But if you want to try this, be sure and have yourself some tongs that will hold the piece. Box jaw tongs work really well, and if you can have a locking mechanism, that also works well. But you want a good purchase on the material so it don't fly off and you don't have trouble. So good tongs and a set of tongs, you know, the duck bill as well as box jaw. And then there may be occasion where you have a smaller set of box jaws for holding the tail. And I like to choke way up here near it when I'm forging on the blade. And remember, this tail will be back here straight out. Anyway, there's a lot of practical things about having the good tools and proper tools, and about seeing it in person, like at one of the classes that I might teach. But I kind of wanted to go over those things and give you some explanation. There will be more videos coming up, and by all means, most of them will have hot work being done. I just forged this one. I mean, it's just warm. The heat just went out of it. I had it setting where it would cool off. It's been thermocycled. It's ready to grind. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you can, if you watch this video all the way through, I appreciate it. And there'll be more videos coming. And again, I appreciate my son Ben helping me with the technical part of it. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot.